I watched my husband load the last duffel bag into our Ford Explorer, his back turned to me as if I were already a ghost. While our kids, Lily with her earbuds in, Max scrolling TikTok, didn't even glance up from the driveway. That morning, I'd signed over our life savings to secure the family future, my hand shaking on the notary's pen, convinced it was for the experimental neural bridge we'd all agreed to test. 12 years later, when they pulled into that same driveway, tires crunching gravel like bones underfoot, I opened the door not as the broken woman they'd left behind, but as the architect of their undoing, my mind forged in fire, my body a stolen shell, ready to make them pay for the swap that stole my life and handed it to the devil. The coffee was bitter that Tuesday in our overpriced split level in Oak Park,
Illinois.
The kind of suburb where every lawn was manicured to spite the neighbors and every garage had a minivan full of unspoken resentments. Tom had brewed it strong, just how I liked black. No sugar, with a faint metallic tang I chalked up to the new filter. He leaned against the quartz countertop, his broad shoulders filling out the flannel shirt I'd bought him for Father's Day, and smiled that salesman grin, the one that closed deals on overpriced condos in the Loop. Big day, babe, he said, clinking his mug against mine. The hail groups flying and Victor himself. This neural bridge thing? It's gonna change everything. For us. For the kids. I nodded, forcing a sip past the lump in my throat. Aurora Klein, PhD in neuroscience, lead researcher on the most groundbreaking tech since CRISPR, body swaps without the sci-fi hokum, just pure synaptic mapping. We'd been at it for 3 years in that nondescript lab on the outskirts of Chicago, funded by Victor Hale's bottomless pockets. Victor, the Silicon Valley transplant who'd turned Detroit's Rust Belt into a drone empire, eyes like polished obsidian, always whispering about immortality for the elite. I'd laughed it off at first. But the prototype was real, a helmet-like rig that could transpose consciousness. Test run on rats swapping gates mid-maze. Human trials? That was the hook. And my family was all in, Tom for the payout, Lily for the Instagram clout, Max because, hell, why not? That lump?
It was doubt.
Gnawing since the lab accident 6 months back. A volunteer, some down-on-his-luck vet named Eddie Harlan, had fried during a dry run, synapses shorting like a bad fuse. Victor swept it under, paid off the widow, but pinned the oversight on me in the internal report. Regulatory heat. Rory, he'd purred over scotch at the signature room. Windy City lights glittering below. You take the hit. Keep the project alive. I'll make it worth your while, equity. A beach house in Door County. I'd sign the NDA. Swallowed the blame. Watch my citations tank while his stock soared. For the family, I'd told myself. For stability in this godforsaken economy where adjunct professors moonlighted at Starbucks. By noon, we were in the basement clean room, our kitchen table draped in sterile sheets, the rig humming like a MRI on steroids. Lily, 16 and all eyeliner and attitude, strapped in first, giggling as the electrodes kissed her temples.
Mom.
If I wake up in your body, I'm raiding your closet. Max rolled his eyes. 14 going on jaded, fiddling with his switch. Tom hovered, filming on his phone for the pitch. Victor arrived fashionably late, chauffeured in from O'Hare, his bespoke suit screaming old money new power. Aurora. Darling, he drawled, Boston accent clipping the vowels. Let's make history. The swap was seamless at first, mirrored sessions, minds brushing like whispers. I felt Lily's teenage buzz. The sugar rush of crushes and curfews. She got my chronic ache from 12-hour days. The weight of grants denied. We laughed it off over takeout pad thai. The rig powered down, bonds tighter than ever. But Victor lingered, eyes on the code scrolling my laptop. Insurance, he called it, uploading backups to his encrypted server. Tom clapped him on the back. Too eager. That night, as I scrolled Zillow for dream homes, our savings pot at $450,000, vested in hail stock, I ignored the pings from my work email. The flagged transfers I dismissed as glitches. Wednesday dawned gray. Lake effect clouds smothering the sun. Tom was up early, packing the Explorer with camping gear, tents we hadn't used since Max's Boy Scouts flop. Cooler stocked for a family reset before the big reveal. Victor wants a sharp, he said, avoiding my eyes. Lily blasted Olivia Rodrigo from her room, suitcase thumping down the stairs. Max trailed, backpack slung low. I poured cereal. Numb. The coffee's aftertaste lingering like regret. What's the rush? I asked, spoon midway to my mouth. Spur of the moment, Tom replied. Too smooth. Hale's treat. Private jet to Aspen. Pitched the demo en route. Lies stacked like cordwood. But I loaded my own bag. Visions of equity shares dancing. At the lab drop-off, Victor waited in the lobby, flanked by suits with earpieces. Aurora. One last calibration, he said, guiding me to the rig. Tom kissed my cheek, cold, perfunctory. Love you, Rory. See you on the slopes. The helmet descended, cool gel against my scalp. Synapses fired. A vertigo whirl. And then nothing. Blackout. When awareness clawed back, it wasn't my body. Rough stubble scratched my chin, calluses split my palms, and the air reeked of diesel and despair. I staggered to a grimy truck stop mirror off I-94. Heart slamming, Eddie Harlan's face stared back, the vet I'd killed, his gray eyes wide with my terror. My hands, his hands, trembled as I pawed at the payphone, dialing Tom. Voicemail. Lily. Straight to music. Max. Mom?
Wait.
This number. Max. It's me. Something's wrong. The swap.
Click.
Dead air. I pounded redial, but the line hummed empty.
Outside.
Semis growled past. Indifferent. My wallet?
Gone.
Phone? Hail issue?
Bricked.
In the rig shadow. I pieced it. Victor's insurance wasn't backup, it was hijack. My mind transposed into Eddie's corpse. Wait.
No.
He'd flatlined post-accident. Body preserved in cryostasis for research. They'd revived the shell. Dumped my consciousness in...
And.
My body? I hitched a ride back to Oak Park. Thumb out in Harlan's threadbare Carhartt. The driver eyeing me like yesterday's trash. The house loomed dark. Windows blind. Door ajar.
Inside.
The air stale. Fridge humming empty. My laptop gone. Closets ransacked. And on the kitchen table, a note in Tom's scrawl, Rory. It's for the best. Victor explained, the project needs a clean slate. We're starting over. Don't follow.
Love. T.
Taped below, a cashier's check stub for $450,000. Deposited to an offshore account in my name. Framed. They'd clean me out. Pinned the Harlan murder escalation. Negligent homicide. Maybe manslaughter. On records doctored in my voice. Feds would come calling. Aurora climbed the fall guy twice over. I sank to the linoleum, Eddie's knees buckling under my rage. Betrayal hit like lake wind, sharp, unrelenting.
Tom.
Who'd vowed in sickness and swaps, selling me for a cut of Victor's empire. The kids, complicit in silence, their futures bought with my blood. Victor, the spider, weaving us all. But in that husk of a body, something ignited. Harlan's shell was tough, marine-honed, veins thick with spite. I'd borne his death for Victor's sins, now I'd wear it like armor. 12 years? They'd wish it was eternity. Hitchhiking west, I scavenged dumpster dives in Gary, odd jobs in South Bend. Eddie's ID got me a SS, a burner phone, a Greyhound ticket to Silicon Valley's underbelly. Victor's drones buzzed overhead, but I stayed low, haunting libraries for neural journals, piecing code from memory. By year 2, in a Reno motel, I'd hacked a public terminal, siphoning crumbs from Hale's R&D leaks. The swap tech? Flawed, but reversible with the master key. Victor hoarded it, but cracks showed, SEC whispers of insider trades, Tom's Cayman listings popping on dark web forums. I rebuilt Aurora's mind in Harlan's frame. Gym rat days forged muscle over grief. Night classes at community colleges sharpened code. Ed Harlan. I became ex-Marine consultant, freelance ethicist auditing AI firms. Ironic,
Right?
the woman who'd borne a killer's blame now preaching morality. But every pitch, every network mixer, edged me closer. A contact in Victor's orbit, a disgruntled engineer, bought with Bitcoin slipped me blueprints. The rig's vulnerability, a backdoor in the synaptic lock, triggered by familial DNA markers. My blood. My revenge. By year 5, Ed had a studio in Fremont, clients in Palo Alto. I stalked them digitally, Lily's influencer feed. All Miami Sun and sponsor hauls, Max's college dropout vlogs from Austin, crypto bro vibes, Tom's LinkedIn, retired consultant in Nassau. Victor? Kingpin. Hale Group at $200 billion valuation. Whispers of enhanced executives in boardrooms. They'd vanished clean, no bodies. No traces. Just Aurora Klein's ghost. Indicted in absentia for Harlan's euthanasia. Controversy raged. Headlines screamed, tech martyr or mad scientist? Protests outside Hale HQ. Justice for Eddie trending. They thought me buried. I was exhuming. Year 8. The break. Victor's gala at the Biltmore. Black tie schmooze with senators and starlets. I crashed as Ed Harlan, ethical auditor. Badge swiped from a caterer's tray. There, across crystal flutes, my body, me, glided in emerald silk, Victor's poise in my curves. He caught my eye, Harlan's weathered face a non-threat. Intriguing guest, he murmured, breath scotch warm. Harlan, isn't it? The vet's kin.
Lie.
But close. I spun yarns of oversight audits, probing for weakness. He laughed. My laugh twisted. Aurora's folly, he said. Pity she cracked under pressure. Cracked? I'd shatter him. That night, back in Fremont, I coded the virus, Trojan, in a demo app, emailed anonymous to Hale's beta testers. It spread, dormant, waiting for the rig's hum. Year 10. Tom's first crack, a DUI in the Bahamas. Paparazzi snaps of Lily's overdose scare. Hushed by NDAs. They were fraying, the dream curdling. Max messaged a burner. Dad says it's time to come home. Loose ends. Loose ends.
Me.
I waited, patient as Lake Michigan ice. Year 12 dawned, and the Explorer, older, dented, turned into my driveway. Not aspen fresh, but weathered, like they'd driven straight from hell. I watched from the blinds. Harlan's got tight. Tom first, grayer.
Paunchier.
Lily, hollow-cheeked. No makeup mask. Max.
Tattooed regret.
They knocked. Hesitant. I opened the door. Ed Harlan's gravel voice steady. Can I help you? Tom blinked. This was the Klein place. Aurora, our wife. Mom, she.
Fade.
Lies prepped. No doubt. I stepped aside, the upper hand a ghost in my smile. Come in. Let's talk about loose ends. They filed in like supplicants to a confessional, shedding coats on the hall rack as if the house remembered their scents. Tom's aftershave. Lily's vanilla vape. Max's faint weed tang. The living room hadn't changed much. I'd kept it frozen in time. IKEA shelves lined with dusty photo albums. The mantel clock ticking accusations. I gestured to the sectional, the one we'd splurged on after my first grant, and poured iced tea from the fridge, sweet, Southern style. Harlan's touch. Sit, I said, Ed's baritone rumbling low. You look like you've driven far. Tom perched on the edge, knees bouncing. His salesman polish cracked like cheap veneer. Yeah, from Florida. Long haul.
Where?
Looking for Aurora Klein. This was her home. Our home. His eyes darted. Cataloging changes. The new smart thermostat. The lack of kids' artwork. Lily slumped beside him, scrolling her phone reflexively, then catching herself, shoving it in her purse, a knockoff Gucci. Edges frayed. Max hung back by the window, arms crossed, the tattoo on his forearm peaking, a neural helix. My design inked ironic. I leaned against the mantel, casual. Harlan's flannel sleeves rolled to elbows scarred from shop work. Klein.
Huh?
Heard the name. Big scandal back when tech was gone rogue.
Right?
Vanished after some lab mishap. I let it hang, watching Tom's Adam's apple bob. He'd aged into a stranger, crow's feet from squinting at spreadsheets. Not sunsets, gut from boardroom buffets. Not our kitchen runs. It's complicated, Tom muttered, rubbing his neck. We were family. Thought she was dead. Maybe. But leads. Pointed here. The house sold cheap after. To some vet named Harlan. He eyed me then. Really looked, Harlan's buzz cut. The limp from an old IED blast I'd adopted as cover. You the owner? Ed Harlan. I confirmed, extending a calloused hand. Tom's grip was limp.
Sweaty.
Lily's followed. Limp fish, Max's firm.
Testing.
Up close. The rot showed, her pupils pinpoint, his veins mapping track marks under sleeves. Victor's money bought escape. Not absolution. Bought it at auction. Fixer-upper. What's the play here? Closure? Inheritance. Tom exhaled. Deflating. All of it. We left. Abruptly. Thought it was best. But things fell apart. Victor, Mr. Hale, he cut ties after the feds sniffed around. Said we were liabilities. We've been scraping.
You know,
Heard rumors Aurora's alive.
hold up somewhere.
We just want to make it right.
Make it right.
The words curdled in my gut, Harlan's frame tensing. I thought of the nights in Reno flophouses, shivering under thin blankets, Aurora's mind screaming into Eddie's deaf ears. The food stamps, the VA psych evals where I lied about flashbacks to claim benefits. The first hack, fingers fumbling on a library keyboard, pulling Tom's credit report, $200K in hail slush, funneled through shell core. I'd borne it all. The crime of Harlan's death pinned on me like a scarlet N for negligence, while they yachted in Abacos. Victor in my skin, patenting the tech as Hailsync, raking billions from longevity cults in LA. Sit tight, I said, retreating to the kitchen. Water ran loud, masking the tremble in my hands as I palmed the USB from the junk drawer, the virus refined, DNA locked to Klein blood. I'd bled into it years back. A prick on a stolen lancet. One interface with the rig. And it cascades, minds unraveling like bad code.
But not yet.
I needed confession first. The deep betrayal laid bare. Tea trays clattered back. Lemon slices floating innocent. Lily broke first. Voice small. She was brilliant. You know?
Mom.
Always working. We resented it, dinners cold. Birthdays missed. Dad said the project would fix us. Make us rich enough to quit the grind. Resentment. I'd miss Lily's prom for a grant deadline. Max's game for Victor's audit. Sacrifices they weaponized. Tom nodded. Eyes glassy. Victor pitched it perfect. Swap tech for the family bond. Test it. Cash out. Retire. But after the accident,
Eddie.
Rory took the fall. Like always. Signed the waivers. Ate the blame. Victor promised protection. But then the swap. He trailed, glancing at the kids. Lily's nails dug crescents in her palms. The swap? I prompted, settling into the armchair, my old spot, facing them like a tribunal. Tom swallowed. Prototype glitch. Victor said it was temporary, to hide her till the heat died. Put her mind in Eddie's body, clean slate. No traces. We were supposed to retrieve her in a month. Reverse it. But he ghosted. Kept her body. The research. We panicked. Grabbed the savings, her savings, technically, and ran. Thought she'd find us. She didn't. Lies layered thick. But cracks showed, Lily's flinch at her body, Max's averted gaze. The truth I'd unearthed in year 6, via Hale whistleblower's Dropbox, no glitch. Victor's plan from jump, transpose me into the cadaver shell. Claim my identity. Bury Aurora Klein as the unstable genius who fled justice. Tom complicit. Signing the transfer docs in my stead. Kids as witnesses for the offshore wire. Deep betrayal. Familial knife twist. And the secret? Harlan's death was an accident. Victor's sabotage. To test lethality thresholds. Me the patsy who'd approved the protocol. You abandoned her, I said flatly. Ed's voice edged steel. Left a brilliant woman in a dead man's skin. Penniless. Hunted. For what? A cut of the pie. Tom's face crumpled. We were scared. Feds circling. Victor turning. Rory always fixed things, took the hits. This time, we thought. Self-preservation. American dream, right? Pull yourself up. Leave the dead weight. Dead weight.
Me.
Lily sobbed then. Mascara rivers. I hated her for it. The lab over us. But in her body, God, The pressure. Victor made me wear it for a week. Training. Felt her regrets. Her love. We were monsters. Max punched the cushion. Bullshit. Dad pushed it. Said she'd understand. Come around.
But yeah,
We took the money.
bought time.
Wasted it. Confession spilled. Raw as roadkill. I rose. Harlan's boots heavy on hardwood. Stay here. Guest rooms are made up.
I'll.
Make calls. Old contacts in the tech scene. Maybe track her. They nodded. Grateful fools. Collapsing into exhaustion as I slipped to the basement. The rig waited. Shrouded under dropcloth, salvaged from the lab auction. My one splurge with Ed's consulting fees. I powered it up. Hum filling the dark like Judgment Day. USB slotted. Green light pulsed. Upstairs. They slept. Dreams haunted by my ghost. But revenge? It simmered. Controversial in its calculus. Swap them back into each other, Tom and Lily's skin. Chaos of gender and age? Or worse, into Harlan's kin. Scattered vets I'd traced. Broken lives to mirror mine. Decisions loomed. Dark mirrors of Victor's ruthlessness. I'd borne his crime. Now I'd wield it. Morning broke humid. Coffee brewing anew. No spikes this time. They gathered bleary. Thanks murmured. Any luck? Tom asked. Hopeful.
Victor, I lied.
He's in town. Conference at McCormick Place. Wants a meet. Old-time sake. Eyes widened. Lily. With Mom? Max. Trap? Tom. Worth the risk. I drove. Explorer's wheel familiar under Harlan's grip. Thumb chattering nervous and back. Loop traffic crawled. Willis Towers spearing clouds. At the hotel, valet swarmed. I flashed a forged badge. Hail security. Victor's sweet penthouse. Keycard from my engineer mole. They filed in. Expectant. He waited. In a stranger's body now, mid-40s exec. My original shell aged out. Wrinkles from stress, not sun. Thomas. Children. Voice mine. But timbre off, Boston clipped to Chicago flat. Then me. Aurora's errant flock. Come to peck. Tom froze. Victor? What the? Upgrade. Victor smirked. My lips curling cruel. Your wife's chassis wore thin. Swapped last year. Perks of ownership. Lily gasped. Max swore. I hung back. Door clicked shut. You bastard, Tom growled. We held up our end. Gave you the body. The codes. Where's our cut? Victor's laugh, my laugh, echoed cold. Cut? You were pawns. Aurora's the prize. Her mind. Her genius. You? Loose ends. As you said. He paced. Silk robe whispering. But sentiment. I'll wire $1 million. Disappear again. Betrayal redux. Victor turning on them as he had me. Lily lunged. Nails out. Max restrained. Tom pleaded. The kids. Deserve better, Victor cut. Or worse. His eyes, my eyes flicked to me. Harlan's frame in the corner. Recognition flickered?
No.
Dismissed as muscle. I stepped forward. Voice steady. Time for the real pitch. Victor. Rig remote in pocket, miniaturized over years. Backpack-sized for consults. I hit play. Basement hum echoed faint from hidden speakers. Synaptic whine built. What the hell? Victor spun. Harlan? Security. Too late. The virus bloomed. DNA ping, Klein markers in the air. From their sweat. My blood legacy. Helmets weren't needed, airborne hack. Nano-dust I'd vented pre-arrival. Minds blurred. Victor clutched temples. My body slumping. Tom convulsed. Lily's scream, his Max retched. Lily's form buckling. Chaos climaxed. Body's puppet wrong. I watched. Harlan's heart thunder. Controversial catharsis. Family writhing in echoes of my pain. Victor's eyes met mine.
Dawning. You.
Aurora? Miss me? Ed's grin. My soul. The penthouse spun into pandemonium. A tableau of twitching limbs and guttural cries that would make Bosch blush, minus the demons. Just human frailty, laid bare under crystal chandeliers. Victor's borrowed chassis, my old one, jackknifed it against the wet bar. Bourbon splashing like arterial spray, though no blood marred the marble. Tom's mind, trapped mid-swap cascade, barked Lily's falsetto pleas from his throat. Dad. Make it stop. Her body flailing wild. Skirt hiking in frantic kicks. Max. In Lily's skin now.
No.
The virus was chooser. Random roulette per DNA ties. He inhabited Victor's shell. My curves convulsing with a teen boy's rage. Fists pounding air. Lily? In Tom's bulk. Her consciousness screaming profanities from his beard-framed mouth. And Victor slipped into Max's tattooed frame. Compact and cornered, scrambling for his phone with unfamiliar fingers. I stood sentinel. Harlan's bulk a bulwark. Remote clutched like a rosary. The rig's whine peaked. Then flatlined, swap locked. Irreversible without the master key I'd long since torched in a Fremont bonfire. Years of code tinkering, fueled by spite and stolen Hail servers, had birthed this, not just transposition, but entanglement. Their essences tangled. Echoes bleeding, Tom feeling Lily's phantom cramps. Her resenting his paternal lectures, Victor tasting Max's dropout shame amid his empire's gloss. Controversial? Hell yes. Was this justice or cruelty? Forcing familial ghosts into wrong flesh? Pro-lifers would riot. Ethicists pen op-eds. I'd be monster or martyr, depending on the feed. Welcome to the family reunion, I growled, Ed's timbre laced with Aurora's ice. Victor, now max-bodied, lunged. Wiry teen muscle no match for Harlan's marine frame. I sidestepped, clotheslining him into the sofa, vertebrae cracking dull. Easy,
Vic.
You've worn my skin. Now try humility.
He spat.
Max's voice cracking adolescent. You bitch. Do you know what I've built? Hail sinks in every boardroom. CEOs swapping for fresh vigor. Politicians dodging age. Your tech. My vision. Vision?
Theft.
He'd buried the Harlan kill as progress. Me the scapegoat in court docs I'd seen leaked. Negligent homicide plea. 5 years suspended if I'd surfaced. Instead, vanished. The ultimate American absolution. Out of sight. Out of cuffs. Tom/Lily hybrid wheezed from the floor. Bulk heaving. Rory?
That you in?
Him. Eyes, Lily's. Wide and mascara streaked. Locked on me. Horror dawning. The betrayals' depth hit fresh. They'd known the plan. Initial swap scripted in Victor's villa. Kids bribed with trust funds. We thought it'd be quick. Hide you. Then fetch. He promised. Promised, I echoed, kicking the phone from Victor/Max's grasp. Screen spiderwebbed. 911 dialing futile. Like he promised me equity after Eddie. I covered your ass. Vic falsified the logs. took the ethics board heat. For science. For us.
Us.
The lab rats. Victor's inner circle. Toasting at Gibson's with fillets and false brotherhood. Lily/Tom surged up, Tom's frame ungainly in her panic. Slamming into the coffee table, glass shattering. Shards glinting like accusations. Mom.
Please.
It hurts, his regrets. His cheating thoughts. Dad fucked the intern. Year before. I feel it all. Scream tore raw. Controversial bomb. Tom's indiscretions. The secret I'd buried for stability. Now flayed public in swap skin. Max/Victor cackled from the floor. My body's laugh twisted. Family secrets. Aurora. You bore them all, his flings. My kills. Eddie was test 1. Volunteers 2 through 10. Collateral for calibration.
Kills.
Plural. The buried secret uncoiled. Not accident. But cull. Victor's immortality quest demanded data, synaptic resilience under duress. Homeless vets. Undocumented migrants. Lured with cash for sleep studies. I'd suspected. Buried doubts in grant reports. Gambled careers on blind faith. My crime. Born for his ambition. Complicity in serial erasure. Souls swapped into voids. Bodies harvested. Feds never dug deep. Hail money-greased palms from D.C. to Springfield. I hauled Lily/Tom upright, gentle despite the rage, mother's instinct in Harlan's grip. You left me to rot in this, I murmured. Voice cracking. Eddie's shell, PTSD loops. Phantom pains from Fallujah. I clawed back, built Ed from scraps. Consulted for your rivals. Audited Victor's sins. Every pitch. I whispered poison in their ears. SEC tips. Class actions brewing.
Indeed.
Hail stock dipped 8% last quarter. Bodygate hashtags trending in Berkeley basements. Max/Victor twisted. My elegant fingers clawing carpet. You'll never win. Boards loyal. My consciousness back to the cloud. Swap me out. I respawn in a clone. Hubris. American as apple pie. Tech gods playing Prometheus. Unbound. Clouds leak. I countered. Pocketing his tablet. Passcode cracked years ago. Via birthday April 16th, 72. Lilies. Your backups? Wiped last night. Virus cascade. Your flesh now.
Vic.
Fallible. I hit the remote secondary. Neural echo amp. Amplifying bleed. Groans chorused, Tom's guilt flooding Lily's empathy. Her teen angst corroding his paternal shield, Victor's corporate voids sucking Max's aimless drift dry. Sirens wailed distant. Hotel security pinged by the shatter. Time tight. I dragged them to the service elevator. Harlan's strength taxed but triumphant, bodies bundled like luggage, gagged with ties. Descent, I quipped. Doors ding. Basement garage. My panel van idling, unmarked. Plates from a Gary chop shop. Loaded them in. Zip-tied. Hoods, overheads. Drive to Oak Park. 40 minutes of silence broken by muffled sobs. My mind racing ethics razor wire. Controversial call. Expose them. Let courts untangle the knot? Or deeper cut, permanent swap. Force them live each other's lives? Victims' justice or vigilante sin? Home loomed. Driveway empty save fireflies. Basement rig awaited. Full size for finale. I hauled them down. One by one. Victor/Max cursing boardroom oaths from teen lungs. Lily/Tom babbling apologies in baritone. Max/Victor, no. Wait. Max was in Victor's old chassis. My body. Pleading, Mom. It's me, fix this. Heart twisted. He'd been pawn most. 14 and impressionable. Scripting TikToks for Victor's promo. Strap them in. Helmets descending like guillotines. Truth time, I said. Monitors flickering vitals. The accident?
Victor's design.
I bore it for the team for you.
Tom.
To keep your commissions flowing. Sign the false report. Ate the shame. You repaid by selling me out. Tom's eyes, Lily's, brimmed.
We didn't know the depth.
He said temporary exile. Lies. I cued the feed. Pre-recorded from my mole, Villa cams. Tom toasting to Aurora's sacrifice. Our ticket out. Kids clinking glasses. Lily. Finally. No more lab rat mom. Gut punch. Fresh scar. Victor/Max sneered. She suspected. Buried memos. Shredded emails. Complicit. All. Twist loomed. My own secret bubbling, had I? Late nights. Doubts dismissed as paranoia. Victor's charisma the drug. American dream's dark underbelly. Ambition blinding to atrocity. I hit reverse, partial. Stabilizing the tangle. Mind settled. But echoes lingered. Permanent haunt. Live with it, I whispered. Tom. Feel Lily's lost dreams, Lily. Tom's failures. Max. Victor's void.
Vic.
My rage. Controversial mercy? Or curse eternal? Feds knocked upstairs, anonymous tip. Hail breach. I slipped out back. Harlan's coat shed like skin. New body weighted. Cloned shell. Funded by audits. Mind transfer queued in a Reno safe house. Aurora reborn. Unscarred. But as I drove into night, doubt gnawed. Upper hand. Or just another swap in the game. The van's engine growled low as I peeled out of Oak Park. Taillights bleeding red into the rear view like accusatory eyes. The weight of 4 souls, tangled, tormented, in the cargo hold a cargo I couldn't outrun. Harlan's hands gripped the wheel. Knuckles white as Chicagoland's winter frost. But it was Aurora's pulse hammering. A metronome of what the fuck of un. The feds would find them soon, my tip to the tip line. Hail execs in swapped meltdown. Check the Klein house, anonymized through proxies. But precise, basement rig. Bodies slumped in synaptic stupor. Echoes of confession looping on hidden cams. Let the machine devour Victor. He'd lawyered out of worse. But this? Minds fractured on public record. Patents voided. Empire cracking like the Berlin Wall in '89. Interstate 90 stretched west. Sodium arcs blurring billboards for McDonald's and mesothelioma suits. The American ribbon of regret. I'd prepped for this. Go bag in the passenger seat. Cloned chassis vial. Neural injector. Cash brick from Ed's slush. Fake ID for Elena Hart, neuroconsult in Seattle. Rain-soaked and remote. No more basements. No more vendettas. Just reinvention. The third act in this body-hopping farce. But the controversial churn wouldn't quit. Had I gone too far? Swapping the family not to punish, but to bind. Tom, forever laced with Lily's unspoken abortions, felt in the bleed. Her silent screams. Lily with his erectile dysfunction shame and strip club tabs. Max with Victor's sociopathic ledger of erased lives. Victor? My echoes in him now. Every boardroom nod haunted by Oak Park mornings. Kids' laughter I'd birthed and lost. Mile markers ticked like therapy sessions I'd skipped. Flashback to year 4. Post-Reno. I'd surfaced in Detroit. Harlan's grit suiting Motor City's husk. Posed as vet-turned-hacker. Infiltrating Victor's drone factories, night shifts soldering circuits, eavesdropping on execs bitching about the Klein ghost, rumors of my body, Victor's then glitching, migraines from synaptic scars. I'd planted seeds, anonymous leaks to ProPublica, Hale's Human Harvest, sketches of the rig with kill switch annotations. Stock dipped. Lawsuits bloomed, class actions from enhanced volunteers waking wrong, personalities pirated. Victor pivoted, rebranding as ethical augmentation, but the rot spread. Family glimpses fueled the fire. Year 7. Austin South by Southwest. Max on a panel. Crypto meets consciousness, his dropout haze polished by ghostwriters. Tattoos hidden under blazers. I sat front row. Harlan's beard itching under ball cap. Q&A mic in hand. What about consent in swaps? Families torn. His stutter, first crack. Post-panel. I tailed him to a dive. 6th Street neon buzzing. He nursed IPAs alone. Scrolling old fan pics. Us at Navy Pier. Ferris will glow. I almost approached. Ed's voice rehearsed. Son, it's Mom. But the intern scar. Lily's echo in his search history.
No.
Betrayals blade cut both ways. Lily's trail led Miami. Influencer hell, beachfront pads. Sponsored by Hale's Youth Sync app. Filters hiding hollows. Year 9. I crashed a yacht party. Harlan's frame in ill-fit tux.
Posing as security.
She was mid-live stream. Bubbly facade cracking when Victor's jet lagged my body. Then, waving from deck.
Babe.
You good, he'd called. My voice solicitous. She'd nodded. But eyes darted. Pills palmed later in the head. I swiped her phone in the crush. Cloned it, text to Tom.
Dad.
V's changing. Wants kids are kids in swaps. Get out. Fracture lines.
Tom.
The linchpin. Hold in Nassau Year 11, condo with harbor view. Consulting for crypto scams. I rented the unit below. Plumbing hacks piping his calls. Pleas to Victor for one more wire. Regrets slurred over rum. The kids hate me.
Vic.
Rory's ghost everywhere.
Ghost. Me.
Haunting HVAC vents. Planting doubts via forged emails. Klein alive. Coming for you. Paranoia peaked. He booked the return. Closure trip.
Now.
Post-climax. The high faded to hollow. Seattle loomed. Emerald City promise. Tech hub sans Victor's shadow. Where I'd pitch heart neural, ethical audits with teeth. But the twist gnawed. In the bleed back. As I prepped the clone transfer. Victor's mind had whispered truth reversed.
Not his sabotage alone, me.
Year 0. Pre-accident. I'd greenlit the high-risk protocol. Desperate for data to beat a rival firm's deadline. Victor's nudge. Yes. But my signature. The crime I'd borne? Self-inflicted. Projected onto him. Family's betrayal? Reaction to my obsession. The lab eclipsing birthdays. The accidental overdose of our dog when Max left meds out, me blaming him. Resentment seeding. Radio crackled static. Tuning to NPR, breaking news. Hale Group CEO in bizarre identity crisis. Authorities probe neural tech links to missing scientist Aurora Klein. Good. Let it burn. But debatable end. Justice served. Or cycle perpetuated. I'd given them each other's hells. Tom/Lily navigating courts in her lithe frame. Explaining family therapy gone wrong. Max/Victor. My body bartered for leniency. Empire's heir a junkie ghost. Lily/Tom. Bulk shamed in women's shelters. Victor/Max. Teen detention warping his god complex. Cathartic or cruel? Forcing empathy through violation? Dawn broke over Indiana corn, golden and indifferent. I pulled into a rest stop. Injector gleaming, self-admin. Neck prick. Consciousness upload to the vial. Harlan's body slumped. Spent vessel. Elena's shell waited in the trunk. Athletic. Unmarred. 28 forever. Controversial choice. Immortality light.
Victor's sin adopted.
As the swap hummed, familiar vertigo, I glimpsed the fam in mind's eye. Echoes fading. Forgiveness?
Nah.
But understanding. Bitter pill. Emerged new. Elena's mirror reflection sharp. Green eyes mine. Hair cropped practical. Drove on. Seattle calling. Upper hand? I'd held it. Dropped it. Picked up sharper. But the real twist, in letting them tangle, I'd freed myself, not from them, but the lie I'd borne. My mistake. Their betrayal, collusion in chaos. American as it gets. Blame shared. Redemption optional. Van hummed north. Future unwritten. Or was it? A ping on the burner. Unknown number. Tom's old. Mom, it's Max. We feel you.
Come back.
Fix us. Heart stuttered. Debatable, return. Untangle. Risk all, or vanish again. Ghost eternal? I deleted. Drove faster. Some swaps you live with. Seattle's veil of drizzle welcomed Elena heart like a conspirator's whisper. Gray skies smudging the space needle into a half-remembered dream. The kind where you wake gasping from falls you chose. I ditched the van in a Spokane chop lot. Hopped Amtrak under Elena's passport, Canadian Forge. Crisp as fresh snow, and checked into a Belltown loft. View of the sound churning restless. The cloned shell fit like a glove tailored by gods, live limbs without Harlan's aches. Skin taut sans laugh lines. Aurora's fire in Elena's cool gaze. First order. Neural scrub. A black market dampener to mute the echoes. Faint aftertastes lingered. Tom's cologne in my nostrils. Lily's cramps ghosting ovaries. Controversial crutch? Sure. But survival's gray. Not black and white like those DC. Think tank pamphlets decrying body commodification. By week 2, Heart Neural LLC was live, filed online. EIN snapped up. Website templated with stock brains and wires. Pitch. Ethical oversight for augmentation tech. Swaps with soul. Clients trickled. Startups spooked by Hale's implosion. VCs hedging bets post-scandal. NPR had feasted. Klein family returns in twisted tech nightmare. Footage of the Oak Park raid. Tom/Lily in cuffs. Her voice booming from his frame. It was her, all her. Finger pointed at ghosts. Victor/Max. Remanded to psych eval. My body's lips mouthing boardroom denials in juvenile court. Lily/Tom. Remanded too. Bulk weeping on local news. We sold her out. God forgive. Max/Victor? Fugitive. My chassis cloned anew? No, virus had bricked the clouds. Hale servers federal seized. He skulked Austin shadows. Junkie whispers of the bitch who stole my skin. I'd watched from burner streams. Elena's fingers steepled. Debating intervention. The twist reversed everything. My complicity unearthed in trial leaks, emails I'd forgotten, greenlighting Victor's cull for that rival beat. I'd borne the crime. Yes. But authored it. Ambition's blindfold tight. Family's betrayal?
Catalyst.
Not cause. Tom's flings my ignored warnings. Kids' resentment my absence is sown. Deep secret. The first volunteer, Prietti, a lab tech who'd OD'd on my watch. Covered as suicide. Victor's hook sunk then. I'd gambled family on genius. Lost all. Consult gigs paid. $5,000 audits in Pioneer Square cafes. Dissecting rivals' rigs for consent flaws. You see the human cost, a founder gushed. 20-something with trust fund sheen. Human cost. I nodded. Elena's smile practiced. But inside, the churn, was this redemption arc or sequel setup? Controversial decisions piled. Turn state's evidence. Testify as consultant witness. Expose my hand. Risk perjury raps for the forgeries? Or ghost deeper? Let the courts gnaw Victor's bones? Month 3. The knock came, Belltown rain pattering like Morse. Door cracked. Max. In street clothes. Gaunt. My body's curves hidden under hoodie. No, wait.
Post-raid.
Swap stabilized?
No.
Feds had reverse rigs. But partial. Hale's lawyers spun. Experimental therapy.
He stood there.
Victor's poise fractured in my flesh. Elena?
Or.
Mom.
How?
Leaks. My friend, the engineer mole.
Paid off but chatty.
I barred the door. Elena's frame taut. Wrong address. Kid. But his eyes, mine, pleaded. The echoes. We all feel, Dad, Lily now, she's testifying. Spilling on Victor. Says you bore it all. The kills. For us. But it was shared sin. Shared. The word hooked. I let him in. Coffee brewing black.
No tang.
He slumped on the IKEA sectional. Oak Park echo. Deliberate? Spilling. Post-raid. Partial untangles, Tom back and self. But laced with Lily's tics. Her vice versa. Voice therapy for baritone. Victor. In Max's shell. Pleading insanity. But echoes of my rage driving confessions. 10 bodies. Migrant graves in Gary lots. He talks in his sleep. Your sleep. Aurora's fault. All of it. But we know better. You covered for him. Then us.
Us.
The betrayals scar-itched. You drove away, I said. Elena's voice steady. Savings gone. Me and Eddie's rot. 12 years scraping. While you yachted. Max winced. My hands, his now. Raking hair. Guilt trip.
Yeah.
We earned it. But the return? Not closure, desperation. Victor cut funds when feds closed. Lily OD'd twice. Dad gambled the rest. We came crawling, thinking you dead or broken. Found Harlan you instead. Revelation hung. The upper hand wasn't swap or virus, but survival's forge. I'd rebuilt empires in shadows. They crumbled in light. What now? I asked. Controversial fork. Embrace. Forgive the unforgivable? Or slam door? Let law finish? He pulled a drive. Hale's remnant files. Smuggled by his Aunt Lily's lawyer. Evidence. Your memos. The approvals. Clears you. Pins Victor.
But. Twist.
One file. Pre-swap recording. You and him. Plotting Eddie as necessary loss. You say it. For the family future. Twist reverse final. Not victim soul. But architect unwitting. I'd whispered the cull. Ambition's fever dream. Family the excuse. Betrayal mutual. Me to them in obsession. Them to me in flight. Debatable end. Testify. Own the mess. Maybe plea to lesser counts? Rebuild fractured clan. Swap scarred but whole? Or vanish Elena into ether? Like ghosts war? Coffee steamed between us. Stay, I said. One night. Talk. He nodded, tears tracking my cheeks. Dawn broke clearer. Sound glittering. Upstairs. Feds called, subpoena incoming. I answered. Elena heart fading to Aurora Klein. Risen. Ending? Not happy. Not tragedy, liminal. Like interstate haze. We'd testify together. Truths tangled. Courts debating ethics of souls swapped. Victor caged. Empire dust. Family mending in therapy rigs. Echoes fading slow.
Me?
Free. Finally, upper hand surrendered for hands held. Controversial? Damn right. Justice or mercy? Readers call. But in America's grind, that's the win, choosing the swap.